confidence, execution, and want to. You have those three tools. Nobody can stop this team. We have worked way too hard. We have one more week of this. Okay, one more. We're going to Arizona, but it starts tonight, and it starts with what's in here, and what's in here.
Welcome to Seattle, Washington, host site of the Eastern Conference Championship. Welcome, fans, inside the booth of LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza joining you. Well, we already know who's headed to the Legends Cup from the Western Conference. It's the hometown Seattle Mist. Who will join them? Let's find out tonight. You've got the Atlanta Steam versus the Chicago Bliss, a pair of power teams. Now I welcome in my broadcast partner, Bobby Huco. Bobby, these two teams, you kind of were assured they would match up in this game. When you look at the Eastern Conference, you've got a struggling Omaha Heart, an expansion team in the New England Liberty. Out of the four teams, I'm not very good at math, but you figure that Atlanta and Chicago will be facing off. Now, they did play this game last year as well. Are there any differences between last year's Eastern Conference Championship and the one tonight?
Yes, for both teams. For Chicago, we talked about the loss of MVP quarterback Heather Furr and wide receiver. She was all-star wide receiver, Allie Alberts. Everybody loved her. But what does Coach Hack do? He retools. He goes to Australia. He brings in a baseball star, Jacinda Barkley, makes her a quarterback with his quarterback coach. Outstanding season she had, and a wide receiver. He got a replica of Allie Alberts. He brings in A.J. Johnson. She can take the top off of any coverage in the LFL.
Now, getting back to Atlanta here. They've lost a record 5 consecutive times to Chicago. Now, did Atlanta do anything this offseason or even in season that would lead you to believe that they could finally overcome this curse?
Well, they had to. After 5 losses to Chicago, Coach Dane Robinson went out and got some size on the offensive line. And then he goes to Omaha, brings in a great athlete, Brittany Demery, makes her a running back, and she's tearing up the league. And up front, Dina Wojcicki at center, Adrian Purnell, and Coco Montgomery back on the other side. They are big up front.
That's a lot of size and a lot of talent. That's what's given them a lot of confidence. But going back to my earlier point of the 5 consecutive losses, that's got to weigh on you mentally a little bit. For a closer look at that aspect of this game, we go down to the field to the third member of our broadcast team, Desi Mitchison.
Thanks, Mitch. There's been situations in sports where one team, for whatever reason, can't seem to beat another. Think of the Boston Red Sox losing to the New York Yankees all of those years in Major League Baseball. Well, that team in the LFL is the Atlanta Steam. They've lost all 5 games against the Chicago Bliss, including last season's Eastern Conference Championship. So how much does it bother Atlanta or make them feel defeated? In talking to 2 of the team's veteran leaders, Adrian Purnell and Dakota Hughes, they both said that is not a factor for tonight's game because they have the lineup that can beat Chicago. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Desi. 40 minutes of football determines who wins the Eastern Conference. Will Dakota Hughes and the Atlanta Steam finally overcome the curse? Or are Jacinda Barkley and the Chicago Bliss headed to the Legends Cup? Kickoff is next. Welcome back to the Eastern Conference Championship. Now let's go down to Desi Mitchison.
Thanks, guys. The next 40 minutes will determine which team of the Eastern Conference will advance. I'm with 2 ladies right now that will certainly play a factor in that tonight. First, we have Adrian Purnell of Atlanta. Adrian, bluntly asking, is your team capable of beating Chicago?
That was a disrespectful question. Of course, we are capable, more than capable. You'll see tonight.
Best of luck, Adrian. Now we have Christelle Harris of Chicago. Christelle, how do you guys keep from being overly confident tonight?
We're never overly confident. We always come into every game for that game, ready to play that game. It's going to be a really good game.
Good luck.
Glad you're here.
Back to you guys for kickoff.
I'm not sure how Adrian Purnell can be shocked at that question. 5 consecutive times they've lost to Chicago, Mitch.
I think that's a bit of that frustration we talked about in the pregame show. This team is sick of reading the headlines of them losing to Chicago. That's our opening kickoff. Dominique Collins, nice deep kick. And a great open field tackle by Kim Perez. That is where Atlanta takes over. And we sat down with their signal caller.
Dakota, as a young leader of this team, how do you get your teammates to truly believe they can beat Chicago?
What I've preached from the beginning is to have confidence in yourself. If you don't have confidence in yourself, you're setting your teammates up for failure. So if you truly believe in yourself and you truly believe that you can get the task done, you're basically unstoppable out there, and that's what we need.
She really does have confidence coming in tonight's game. She mentioned Coach Hack said she can't throw against his secondary. She frankly does not care. She's ready to go tonight.
Let's meet the starters for Atlanta.
Lauren Ziegler, wide receiver.
Teresa Petrozello, wide receiver.
Ariana Barton, your tight end.
Adrian Purnell, your tight end.
Dina Wajowski, your center.
Brittany Demery, running back.
Dakota Hughes, quarterback.
Dakota Hughes is thrilled to have all her targets back tonight. Wide receiver Lauren Ziegler did not play against Chicago. She is back.
That's Dakota Hughes early connecting with Adrian Purnell. Not to mention alongside Purnell, they have Coco Montgomery back in the lineup for Atlanta. That should give great protection up front for Dakota Hughes and company.
The last matchup, Adrian Purnell caught a lot of balls. Coach Hack is going to put coverage on her tonight. You saw she caught the ball, but Kim Perez was right on her for a short game.
There's a look at Dakota Hughes' numbers. Very impressive. Only 2 interceptions against 12 scores. Mishandling the snap. Barely able to get back on it is Dakota Hughes, and we do have a penalty. Our first one of the night.
It looks like Chicago jumped.
Hawkeyes, Bobby Huco, you are dead on. That was an offside penalty on Chicago. Let's meet their starters.
Dominique Collins, cornerback. Deandra Fry, cornerback.
Kim Perez, free safety.
Tamar Fennell, strong safety.
Kristen Morrison, middle linebacker.
Chantel Taylor, your DN. Yashi Rice, defensive end.
The defensive ends, Taylor and Rice, have to get to Hughes tonight to have any chance at a win.
Now Hughes scrambling for her life, finding some real estate. That is one of the options she gives you on a 1st and 5, a 9-yard run by Dakota Hughes. That is good for another Atlanta first down.
Again, she runs like Tom Brady, not a great runner. Like right here, she looks like she's running like an upset camel. She gets things done. She gets the first down and gets out of bounds.
An upset camel. I've not heard that one just yet. You saved that for the Eastern Conference Championship.
Well, that's what. Have you ever seen an upset camel run? That's just like Dakota Hughes did.
A 1st and 10 at the Chicago 11. This time handing off again to Brittany Demery, a draw play. The Chicago defense converging. Kim Perez and Dominique Collins. No gain on the play.
That running game in Atlanta destroyed the front of Chicago in their previous meeting. Coach Hack and his staff, they did everything they can in this game plan to shut down that running game.
I think the addition and the return of Coco Montgomery should fare well for that front line of Atlanta tonight.
It's going to be fun to watch because the defensive line of Chicago didn't show up last game. Tonight they said they're ready to go, but that line, they're monsters on Atlanta.
This is Dakota Hughes rolling right, throwing to the end zone, and connecting with Lauren Ziegler. Ziegler coming into this game not 100%, but having an impact early.
Dakota Hughes buying time in the pocket, finds Ziegler on a post pattern wide open in the end zone. Ziegler's told me she is 95% ready to go, which is amazing.
The touchdown stands. Head referee Jason Gardner indicating a holding call on Chicago, obviously declined. Far more importantly, this is the confidence booster this Atlanta team needs.
Absolutely. Lauren Ziegler, I don't know how she got this healthy so fast. I thought she'd be like 70%. She told me she used the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hyperbaric chamber to come back like this. Unbelievable comeback. Great pass by Hughes. Great start for Atlanta.
They are going to need number 14 in the lineup. That is where they go on the extra point. No good. Our score will remain 6-0 Atlanta. A very impressive opening start here by Atlanta's offense. 5 plays, 39 yards. And And in this political season, we give equal time to both quarterbacks. Let's go to Desi Mitchison.
Jacinda, do you feel you should be considered an elite quarterback alongside Atlanta's Dakota Hughes?
Yeah, I feel like we both showcase some really good skill sets. It's just going to come down to who can win the big game.
We've done this 100 times, yeah? Now we'll just play our game. All right, here we go. So we've got twins right, YMO, 22 blast, okay? Block, make those gaps. YMO, on one. Right! Let's go, come on.
Jacinda Barkley sounds like a veteran LFL quarterback, taking control. She's done it all season, coming from Australia, learned this system, and has Chicago on a roll.
The Bliss electing to keep it on the ground early. That is Christelle Harris. Harris managing 3 yards, but getting back to Jacinda Barkley. She had 11 touchdown passes against only 3 interceptions this year.
Her stats were outstanding, but more than that, I love her the way she takes control of this team. You'd think she'd play quarterback for 5 years already.
A toss play, Christelle Harris. That is 2 consecutive run plays to number 13, picking up a total of 11 yards, and that'll be good enough for a Chicago first down.
Christelle the Ferrari Harris is back. She has fresh legs because of the way offensive coordinator Jim Bruner used running backs Javelle Thompson, Shabria Servillian a lot this season, allowing the veteran Christelle Harris to have fresh legs.
And that will take us to a media timeout. Atlanta up early, 6-0. Back to first quarter action here in Seattle, Washington. The Eastern Conference Championship, Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Huco, and Desi Mitchison. A 1st and 10 from the Atlanta 24. That is Jacinda Barkley just striking it out to A.J. Johnson. You got to be impressed with Barkley's arm strength.
Absolutely. The read was perfect, too. They had double coverage on the inside, one-on-one with A.J. Johnson outside. And what a find she was for Coach Hack. She was playing basketball at Western Michigan, the Broncos. He sends a scout out there. She's bringing everything down like she's pulling rebounds down.
A.J. Johnson making a huge impact offensively in only her rookie season. In fact, she is Rookie of the Year nominee. And you can make an argument for league MVP potentially.
Absolutely. They lose Allie Alberts. They bring in A.J. Johnson, and she's become a star.
That is Christelle Harris, another carry for number 13. Looked like she may have lost the ball, but the play was blown dead. A 6-yard carry. Now let's meet the starters for Chicago.
A.J. Johnson, wide receiver.
Shabria Servillian, wide receiver.
May Gamble, tight end.
Dina Fagiano, tight end.
Brittany Wilson, center.
Ferrari Harris, the running back.
Jacinda Barkley,
Quarterback.
The key tonight for Chicago is going to be that offensive line. They have to open up some holes for the Ferrari Christelle Harris.
A 1st and goal now for Chicago, looking over the middle and connecting with A.J. Johnson. I'm not sure what A.J. Johnson was doing there, flinging the ball forward. This could be a fumble. I'm not sure who's on the ball. That looks like maybe Dina Fagiano on the recovery. A dangerous-looking play.
It looks good. 5-step drop, good protection, hits post, great catch by Johnson. Now, why she tries to fling the football, I'll never know. Fagiano comes up with it. Here it is again. The coverage is there, but a good pass inside. You throw it back shoulder. She catches the ball, tucks it in, going in for 6, and for some reason gives up the football.
That has got to be a rookie brain fart. I don't think I've seen that in quite some time. And it looks like Atlanta will elect to challenge this. And I don't know what you can challenge here outside of who had possession on the fumble. We're going to get an official call here.
Atlanta somehow thinks they came up with the football. It looked clear to me that Fagiano had the football. Should be Chicago's ball, 1st and goal.
Yeah, this was a futile attempt by Atlanta because it was clear that either May Gamble or Dina Fagiano got on this football. Clearly it was a fumble. She made a football move, caught the ball, had possession. And then this is what's in question right here. Who has the football? And it's the old question, Bobby, who's got the strongest arms in that?
Absolutely, in the scrum. Gamble, the ball is between her legs, and Faziano reaches between her legs and grabs the ball. It's clearly Chicago's ball.
You hear the old stories in the NFL, and they still probably do it, where they're biting each other's hands, and God knows what's going on inside those scrums.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Second down, Chicago.
So the ruling stands on the field. Chicago retains possession, and that'll cost Atlanta the challenge and the timeout.
I'm not sure I agree with head coach Dane Robinson's decision to challenge that. Now he's out of the challenge here in the first half, and Chicago has the ball going in. I'm not sure at all about that.
After Chicago retains possession, now a 2nd and goal. Ball at the 1-yard line. What we've seen here from this offense is the quarterback dive play. They're going to do it again with the powerful Jacinda Barkley getting into the end zone for Chicago's first score of the night.
It is simply amazing to me that Dane Robinson, a defensive coordinator, is not prepared to this. I would put 5 people over the center to make them do something else. Inside the 1-yard line, it's all leverage. You have to get lower than the offensive line. You know they're doing a quarterback sneak. They bring Crystal Harris right behind her, a la Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart in the championship game, and they push her in the end zone, but Atlanta's defense is still not prepared for it.
That offside penalty on Atlanta declined by Chicago. The score remains 6-6. You could see Chicago now electing to line up for a 2-point conversion. Barkley from the 3-yard line trying to draw the defense offside. Now just burling her way into the end zone. That is the brute strength of number 15. We talked about her playing Aussie rules, a very similar style.
She's playing like a veteran quarterback. She used her cadence as a weapon. They were uncomfortable on the defensive line. They almost jumped, so it means they're coming back. Then she snaps the ball, and she bulls her way to the same exact play. They just cannot stop her power.
We talked about Atlanta's opening possession going for 5 plays, 39 yards. Chicago answers with a 6-play, 35-yard drive of their own. Now Atlanta set to answer. Dakota Hughes taking over at the 15-yard line. This is a Chicago defense that comes in ranked number 5. Not a very good season, but creating a lot of turnovers. That's a little swing pass. Big hit. That looked like Tamar Fennell coming up from the safety position and laying the lumber on Jessie Locklear.
They tried to get the ball in space to Jessie Locklear. She's a good athlete, but one-on-one, she's not going to be able to get around Tamar Fennell, who is a superior athlete. Not a great call by Atlanta.
A 4-yard gain. That'll set up a 2nd and 6. This offense has really mixed it up. We've seen a bit of Brittany Demery. We've seen the long passing game to Lauren Ziegler. And now looking underneath to Jessie Locklear. From the shotgun, that is a draw play to Locklear on the left side. That is a great open field tackle by Tamar Fennell. Fennell really making an impact on this defense.
Fennell was an all-fantasy running back in Cleveland and Toledo. Here she is a defensive back, but again, it's the same thing. When Jessie Locklear got the ball, she had space outside. She just did not have the speed to outrun Tamar Fennell.
Now a 3rd and 2, ball at the Atlanta 23-yard line. Getting back to Fennell, what she lacks in size, she's been one of the biggest hitters in the game since back in 2011.
Absolutely, a great personnel move by Keith Hack, moving her from running back to 100% at defensive back, and she's playing great football this year.
And talk about big free agent pickups. That is Teresa Petrosulio. Petrosulio also spending some time with the Cleveland Crush alongside Tamar Fennell, making an impact for this Atlanta offense.
Teresa Petrosulio, a great wide receiver. Her and Lauren Ziegler make a great 1-2 punch for quarterback Dakota Hughes. They're moving the football again.
A lot of weapons on this offense. And when you've got a franchise quarterback in Dakota Hughes, you really open up the playbook.
She's playing great football tonight, moving the ball around to her backs and her receivers.
Now a play-action pass down the field. Looking for Lauren Ziegler. Ziegler had a step on Deandra Fry.
Great decision by Hughes. Play action, one-on-one. You have Ziegler going against Fry. She's beat, The ball's just a little bit overthrown. Ziegler almost came up with it.
That's one of the keys for this Atlanta team. Keep number 13 on the sideline. Christelle Harris has done a lot of damage to this Steam roster.
And she's going to be big tonight for Chicago to have any chance to win this game. But in playoff games, she takes it to a different level.
A 2nd and 10 after that incomplete attempt to Lauren Ziegler. This is a Y handoff. That looks like Adrian Purnell in the open field. Purnell picking up 5 yards on the carry.
Atlanta offensive coordinator Mark White has really turned Purnell into an offensive weapon. Right there, you see how she's developed as a runner. She lengthens the field, she goes out wide, then cuts it up for a 5-yard solid game. She was never used as a runner before or a receiver before this season.
A look at Kristen Morrison, the Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year nominee. She should factor big for that Chicago defense. As we wind down the first quarter, that is a little toss play. Misdirection to Brittany Demery, trying to get her in the open field. Demery picking up 5 yards. We've got another penalty. This may be an offsides against Chicago. That is what they're marking off. Jason Gardner being very active with his crew here in the first quarter.
That's bullshit! That's bullshit! That's a bullshit call!
Coach Hack not agreeing with the offside call.
That is twice in the first quarter they have called Chicago for offsides. You cannot do that in an Eastern Conference Championship game. You're killing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Atlanta will not get another play. That is the end of 10 minutes of play here in the Eastern Conference Championship. A game that Chicago now leads 8-6.
Hey, ref! This guy. I know it's bull.
He's in it. But that's what I'm saying is she comes.
No, she's calling you for being outside. I'm sitting there watching him. Hey! Hey! Ref! 3 yards! 3 yards! They're on the line! They're on the line!
He's saying our safety.
I don't give a as long as your feet are on the other side.
Your safety was at 4 yards, number 10.
That's interesting. You've got a player explaining to Coach Hack that the safety was up. That's why they were called. He dismisses her. The referee comes over with the exact same explanation, and he accepts it.
That's because he's wearing stripes. He's the ref. Coach Hack clearly thought it was a defensive lineman, but it was a safety getting in the box, which was illegal.
A 3rd and 1 handoff to Jessie Locklear. I'm a bit surprised as to how much they're using Locklear early in this Eastern Conference Championship.
They really like her. I'm surprised also. She's not an exciting player. She's not big. She's 5'3", 130. But they give her the football a lot, expecting her to break something, but she doesn't have breakaway speed. She's just a solid football player with not a lot of excitement.
A consummate backup, I think is the word you're looking for.
I think you're right.
Alongside Locklear, they did give some time to Amanda Ruler earlier this season, but she is not activated tonight. The run game should factor here on a 4th and 1. Handoff to Brittany Demery getting to the outside. Great tackle. Deandra Fry and Tamar Fennell, but they could not stop her. That is a 2-yard gain and a 1st down.
Deanna Fry gave it her best effort, but she only weighs 120. You have Brittany Demery coming in at 185, one-on-one. She is going to get that 1 yard going against Fry.
Yeah, I like my matchup with Brittany Demery versus Deandra Fry and Tamar Fennell in the open field.
Together, they might be able to bring her down, but one-on-one, there is no way Fry can handle her.
That Demery run now setting up a 1st and goal. Ball at the 8-yard line of Chicago. Hughes under center, looking to set up the screen and deflected. Great deflection at the line of scrimmage by Chantel Taylor. We've got Dakota Hughes mic'd up.
She was wide open.
She was wide open.
Okay.
We are. Hey, I'm all right.
He's watching you. Listen, they know the play. Omaha right, toss right. God
Block on one. Ready? Omaha right toss.
Dakota Hughes has the authority to change out of it. She can audible. She knows this play is being read by Chicago. Change the play. Go to something different.
A toss right, and look at Kristen Morrison just blow up Dina Wojcicki, and that is a 3-yard loss. Again, to your point, Bobby, if they know the play is coming, audible out of it.
And Coach Hack told me he has studied Atlanta inside and out, all their formations. He does know a lot of the plays that are coming up, but it's up to Atlanta to change it up. It's like a chess game. I blame that one on Hughes.
But even if you know the play that's coming, or they know the play that's coming, they still have to defend against it. So Dina Wojcicki, you've still got to hold that block.
Oh, totally. But if they know the play,
right? I
mean, they're going to be there before the ball is.
A 3rd and goal nearing the 7-minute mark of the second quarter. We'll get a chance to see if the defense expects this play as well. Receivers flank to each side. That is a slant pass. That looks like it's complete to Teresa Petrozulo.
Deandra Fry had great coverage one-on-one. She saw the slant coming in. She was there. Just a great pass by Dakota Hughes and a great catch and concentration by Petrozulo.
Coach Hack visibly upset at his defense. Both offenses are really marching the ball down the field.
Atlanta looks solid at running game, and Dakota Hughes is on fire passing the football.
A 4th and goal. How big is this for this Atlanta team? Ball at the 1-yard line. You have got to convert this.
Absolutely. You know the ball is going to go to their big back. 1 yard, they're going to give the ball to Demery.
Demery lined up in the fullback position. They're going to go to her, and she barrels into the end zone. No shot for that interior defense of Chicago as Atlanta takes the lead.
This is almost a repeat of the previous meeting against Chicago. This offensive line, Wojcicki, Purnell, and Barton, they are destroying the front line and Kristen Morrison, the linebacker.
You saw Demery unloading on Morrison. We talked up Kristen Morrison earlier in the drive, but no match for Brittany Demery.
Not at all. You can see Coach Hack is disappointed on the sideline. This is the exact same thing that happened last game.
Atlanta lining up for the 2-point conversion. Hughes from the shotgun. Pass intended for Lauren Ziegler, no good. Our score will remain 12-8 Atlanta. The Steam with a 4-point lead, looking impressive early.
Quick slant in the red zone? What's wrong with you?
Coach Hack not happy with Dominique Collins. As we welcome you back to LFL Football Night, a special Eastern Conference Championship edition here in Seattle. As Chicago now takes over 1st and 10 from its own 15-yard line. With a little screen pass, that complete to Christelle Harris. Harris showing her ability to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Offensive coordinator Jim Bruner, he wants to get the ball to Christelle Harris any way he can in space. With that much space, she's going to make big yardage. It was another great read by quarterback Barkley. Watch this. She looks off the defense, man-to-man coverage. Nneka Nwani gets sucked inside. Nobody on Harris, and she gets a big gain.
A 1st and 10 now, ball at the Atlanta side, down to the 23-yard line. Barkley looking over that defense. Dropping back to pass, looking to the right side, now checking down, complete. Shabria Civilian, we've not called her name tonight, but another contributor on this offense.
Civilian's got that speed across the middle. All Barkley needed was time, and up front, Fagiano, Gamble, and Brittany Wilson, they created a pocket. She climbed the ladder. She found Civilian across the middle. Solid play for the Bliss.
How about the patience of Jacinda Barkley? Checking down to her 2nd, possibly 3rd option. A 2nd and 1 now. Ball at the Atlanta 14. Receivers flank to the right side. Barkley back to pass. Stepping up in the pocket and just missing Christelle Harris.
She had time. She got a little flustered. She moved well in the pocket. Harris again was wide open. Just threw the ball behind her.
That'll set up a 3rd and 1. Ball at the 14. Barkley's been under some pressure tonight. We got her mic'd up. This was the previous play.
She stepped up in the pocket, but she did get hit right when she was delivering the football, and hence the ball was behind Harris.
Brittany Demery, that was her putting the pressure on Barkley, contributing on both sides of the football. Barkley back under center, 3rd and 1. A toss right to Christelle Harris, and look at Harris. Great vision and patience. Gaining 6 yards, that'll be good enough for a Chicago first down.
Great drive blocking by the front line of the Bliss. A basic Chicago sweep. Looked like the 85 Bears. You get the ball to Peyton. You give it here to Harris, and she gets the first down.
All right, flip one. Strong
I
left.
love the vision of Christelle Harris.
Yeah, you're wide. Just crack.
You could see her cut back inside, and that bought her another 4 yards. A key 1st and goal now for Chicago.
For all you young backs out there in the LFL watching this playoff game, she waits for her blocks. She has the blazing speed, but she waits for her blocks to develop.
Nearing the 3-minute mark of the second quarter, mishandling the snap, and Johnny on the spot, Christelle Harris. That could have been disastrous for this offense.
It was a gamble. The Coach Hack started Brittany Wilson at center in a playoff game, and it showed right there. Just a basic mistake in the quarterback-center exchange.
A 2nd and goal. That was a loss of 2 yards. The ball back to the 10-yard line.
That tells you the confidence he has in his players, though. He didn't even flinch about starting Wilson, but that was a rookie mistake.
2nd and goal. Barkley remains under center. And mishandling another snap. This is a loose ball. We'll get the call here momentarily, but that looks like Atlanta is on the ball. Number 6, Alfie Gore.
The snap by Wilson did not get up there. It's a real gamble by Hack when you put Wilson in there with Stephanie Murray, who's been playing pretty much the entire season, and you saw Wilson didn't get the ball up. You have to take it all the way up to your butt and put it in the quarterback's hands. She did not do it on that play.
That has been one of the weaknesses of this franchise. They've never really developed a center. And here's another look at that mishandled ball. Barkley had no shot. And that happened on the previous play.
2 plays in a row, and this is a playoff game. You can't risk the quarterback-center exchange to be botched like that.
Don't listen.
Dakota Hughes under center, inside handoff. Adrian Purnell, look at her get to the outside. You do not see that kind of speed from a tight end.
Absolutely. As we mentioned before, Mark White saw her speed, saw her hands, and she was mainly a defensive player before this season. She's very involved in the offense and blazing speed outside. Great play for Atlanta.
That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Atlanta threatening once again behind the play of Adrian Purnell.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, we must have a stop. We must have a stop. All right, remember, there's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. They only have 1 timeout. All right, we need a stop here. We go down 2 scores, we're in trouble. All right?
Coach Keith Hack sounding the alarm as Atlanta's driving once again, already up 12-8.
Just like in their previous matchup, this Chicago Bliss defense has not stopped the offense of Atlanta in the first half. For some reason, the first half, they're on roller skates going the wrong way.
Dakota Hughes looking very comfortable in the pocket. A pocket that's made by Ariana Barton, Dina Wojcicki, and Adrian Purnell having a great first half. And that is complete to the aforementioned Adrian Purnell. What a weapon she is at the tight end position.
Purnell is just a great all-around athlete, great speed, great hands, and by continuing to get her ball underneath, it's going to open it up over the top for Petrozzillo and Lauren Ziegler.
Now a 2-step drop in a quick pass. That looks to be complete to Lauren Ziegler. Ziegler gaining 5 yards, setting up a 3rd and 1.
That was a stacked twin set to the left. You get the ball to Ziegler with Petrozzillo blocking in front. There was only 1 defensive back outside. If she would have kept the ball by the wall outside, she might have gone all the way.
Time not really a factor here. About 1:30 remaining. Atlanta does have a timeout. Now a 3rd and 1 at the 14-yard line. They're going to fake the handoff, look to the end zone. Hughes rolling right, now just dumping it off. That's Dina Wojciechowski. And I'm not sure Kim Perez wanted anything to do with number 17.
Great play by Dakota Hughes. There was nothing deep. Play action pass. They tried to go deep to Ziegler. Safeties were there. Watch her come underneath. And of all people, the center, Dina Wojciechowski from Pittsburgh. She runs like she's made out of steel, and she gets the first down. Wow.
A first and goal ball at the Chicago 9-yard line. Under a minute remaining now. They need to be watching that clock. That should be an incomplete pass. You could see Hughes motioning that was a forward pass. The Chicago bench wanting the officials to take another look at this.
That's a fumble. That is a fumble. She tried to pitch it. That's a fumble. Don't tell me it's not.
The challenge and ruling on the field that it was an incomplete pass.
Yes. It's a fumble. Because we recovered it.
Now, normally, you cannot challenge this inside of a minute. But Coach Hack has somehow convinced this officiating crew to take a look at this.
This is another not a good challenge by Coach Hack. It was a pitch, but it was a forward pitch. She was definitely trying to complete the pass to Ziegler. Ziegler didn't see it coming. That's an incomplete pass.
One timeout. No, we actually will have two if we win this challenge.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Incomplete pass. Chicago will be charged with their first down.
That is the right call by Jason Gardner and his crew. As that was a
This can be an incomplete pass, and the ball went forward. That's why it's incomplete.
It went forward because it deflected off of her. That's why it went forward.
No, it still went forward. She was here.
That'll cost Chicago a timeout and their challenge. Shouldn't have much relevance with only 38 seconds remaining in the second quarter. A second and goal now. Hughes looking to dump it off to Demery. I don't think Brittany Demery anticipated that pass at all.
Well, nobody blocked Chantel Taylor. You got to get a hand on Chantel Taylor. I mean, the feeling that Cody Hughes had, sometimes if you're a quarterback in the LFL, you feel like you're in a lion's cage, but you're wearing pork chops. I mean, Chantel Taylor coming right after her, couldn't get her, but clearly Dakota Hughes had to deliver the ball way too quick.
They're going to try to put some pressure on Hughes throughout the night. That was part of the strategy defensively for Chicago coming in.
4, deep 6, 8 on 1. Ready?
The thing that does concern them are those two outside receivers, Teresa Petrozzulo and Lauren Ziegler. A third and goal play from the shotgun. Rolling right again with the pressure, this time Dakota Hughes. It appeared she could get out of bounds, but being tracked down by Kristen Morrison.
Chantel Taylor coming off the edge had Dakota Hughes in the backfield, but I think she thought she was at practice. Hughes wearing a red shirt. She didn't tackle her. She just touched her.
That was a loss of 2 yards. It'll go down as a sack. Atlanta driving.
We want man-to-man. You're on. Watch that. If they come out with the trips look. If they come out with that look they just came out with, you're on the slot.
A 9, I want an 8, and I want a 2. Jesse did. And 2. I want a 9, 8, 2, and then Dina's releasing. Hey, is it 4th and goal? Yeah. We got to get in the end zone. We have to get in the end zone.
You see leadership from both sides of the ball. That was Keith Hack with some Chicago strategy, and then quarterback Dakota Hughes.
4th down from the 11, 4th and goal. They got to get in the end zone. I'm not sure about Chicago going to man when you have talented receivers like Ziegler and Petrozzulo.
Hughes back to pass, lobbing it into the end zone. An improbable catch by Lauren Ziegler. Are you kidding me?
One of the best players ever to play in the LFL. She's up for the Hall of Fame this year, and that's the reason. That was just like a Hail Mary from the 11-yard line. Chicago defensive players everywhere. Hughes lobs it up. How in the world did Ziegler come up with this unbelievable play?
And if Lauren Ziegler is injured, not at 100%, can you imagine her at full speed?
I can't. That was just insane the way she came down with that football. It was a Hail Mary just thrown up as high as I've seen a Hail Mary, and Ziegler came down with it.
5 scores on the year in a year that's really been injury-riddled for number 14, yet still making an impact here for Atlanta.
That proves a point. Hail Marys are great when you have talented receivers.
The extra point attempt here, toss left, Jessie Locklear. Finally, Atlanta converting, and that'll push their lead to 19-8.
Jessie Locklear, we talked about her being an all-round type back. Right there, great blocking out front, just a power sweep to the left. And here we go again. Atlanta, it's almost halftime against Chicago, just like last game. It's 19-8.
8 plays, 39 yards, taking up a minute 58. A good-looking drive by Atlanta.
Let's see if Chicago can answer. And Barkley's having a good first half. This offense in Chicago is playing well. They're just not on the field a lot.
A 1st and 10, 24 seconds remaining. That challenge by Chicago costing him one of its timeouts. Handoff to Harris. Harris getting into the open field. That was an 11-yard carry. They have got to get on the ball. Nneka Nwani on the stop.
Great blocking by Fagiano. She kicks out, opens a big hole for Christelle Ferrari-Harris. Big game. They have time. Let's see if they can score.
Chicago did use its final timeout. Now from the shotgun, a 1st and 10. Look at the pressure. That was Coco Montgomery, and that is a loose ball. Keon Harrison on the recovery.
They're giving it to Atlanta, but I'm not sure that was a fumble. That reminded me of Tom Brady, the old tuck rule against the Raiders. She went to throw, brought the ball back when the ball was still in motion. She got hit. It was a fumble. Looked exactly like the Brady play, but it looks like they're giving it to Atlanta. A great bull rush by Coco Montgomery. She gets right through Gamble, but again, the ball, she looked like she was trying to throw it, then bring it back, then got hit, but they're giving it to Atlanta.
What a turn of events. Under 10 seconds remaining. Atlanta just coming off a score with another opportunity here. Hughes back to pass to the end zone. Nearly had a receiver. That was intended for Teresa Petrozzullo, just underthrown.
That could have been the dagger to end this game. I mean, they're on a roll right now. Of all people, Petrozzullo's got great hands, like pillows, like velvet, but she flat out dropped that one.
No crown over spill water.
6 seconds remaining. They've got another shot, maybe 2 at the end zone. You can see the frustration on head coach Dane Robinson. They had a shot here.
Great protection, a big pocket, a great throw. Throws it where you got to catch it. A little bit behind, but Petrozzullo always comes up with that ball.
I did not see that. That was definitely behind Petrozzullo. A 2nd and 10 now, again to the end zone. This time overthrowing Jessie Locklear. And I'm not sure I would target Locklear in this situation.
Not at all, because Dakota Hughes put the ball on the money again. One-on-one coverage out there. Locklear looked like she was open. Just didn't come down with the ball. Good throw by Hughes.
Hughes smartly throwing it early, conserving one more shot at the end zone here with 3.3 seconds remaining.
When we saw Ziegler come up with a catch like she did for the touchdown, why not throw it to her, even if she's covered?
Dakota Hughes talking over things with Jessie Locklear. Dropping back to pass, a little pressure in the middle. Rolling right to the end zone. And caught! That is Lauren Ziegler with her 2nd score in under a minute. The most improbable endings of a half of football I've seen in a long time.
This entire Atlanta offense, quarterback Hughes, Ziegler, the offensive line, they're on fire. Watch the protection and watch how Hughes moves in the pocket. Moves up, moves back, the line, Wachowski still blocks. Ziegler goes in and then reverses out to get wide open in the end zone. They are absolutely on fire. Hack cannot believe it.
A sense of bewilderment. You could see Coach Hack looking up at that scoreboard. It was a little over a minute ago that his team was only down 12-8.
When Coach Hack is not yelling at somebody, he is in shock. And right now, he cannot believe what this Atlanta offense is doing.
No time remaining on the clock, but just like the NFL, Atlanta will get an opportunity here in an extra point play. A toss right play to Jessie Locklear. Again, that is a head-scratcher. You've got a Brittany Demry, and you're running toss plays with Jessie Locklear.
Somebody on that coaching staff loves Jessie Locklear. And again, she's a nice player, but not like Brittany Demry, the power back. That's who you need inside the 5.
Would love to be a fly on the wall in that Chicago locker room. Coach Hack upset as Atlanta reels off 2 scores late. Back with halftime after this. A surprising halftime score of Atlanta leading it 25-8. And is the curse finally over? As we welcome you back inside the booth of LFL Football Night, Mitch Mortaza alongside Bobby Huco. Now, Bobby, did you expect Atlanta to have this much success against a very good Chicago team?
I actually did. They have a solid football team. They've shot themselves in the foot in previous games against Chicago, but tonight their running game looks really solid. Adrian Purnell, she has a couple big runs, and quarterback Dakota Hughes already 3 touchdown passes.
Now, on the Chicago side of the ball, they've struggled in the first half of this one, only managing 8 points on the scoreboard. And more importantly to that point, 2 turnovers by this offense late in the first half. That really hurt them. And an offense that otherwise is very explosive has only managed 7 minutes of possession in the first half in comparison to Atlanta's 13.
Well, Chicago, they definitely have to shore up that defense. Offensively, even though not a lot of time on the field, they're not playing that bad. The quarterback, Barkley, she's 4 out of 5, and Christelle, the Ferrari Harris, averaging over 7 yards per carry.
Now, we talked about Chicago only managing 8 points. Atlanta did put up 25. Let's look at the first half scoring. First off, Lauren Ziegler. We thought she'd be banged up, possibly not even playing this game. She opens it up early with an 11-yard connection with Dakota Hughes, giving Atlanta a 6-0 lead. Still in the first, Jacinda Barkley with Chicago's only score of the half on this 1-yard touchdown run. And in the second quarter, Brittany Demry on a 1-yard run, followed by the Dakota Hughes-Lauren Ziegler show. The pair connected for a pair of touchdowns, first from 11 yards out and then from 17 yards out. That brings us to our halftime score of 25-8 as we look at the first half stats.
As you mentioned, Atlanta doubled the total yardage and time of possession, but the real keys in the first half were those late turnovers by Chicago.
That will bring us officially to the end of halftime festivities here at the Eastern Conference Championship. 20 minutes of football remain. Who will join the Seattle Mist in Legends Cup? Is it the Atlanta Steam or the Chicago Bliss? Kickoff is next. Desi Mitchison.
Thanks, guys. I'm with Chicago head coach Keith Hack. Coach, no one expected you guys to be down 25-8 to a team that you've beaten all of your previous matchups. What's going on?
It's turnovers. It's all about turnovers. We turned the ball over twice. Once in the red zone, one right here where the quarterback got sacked and fumbled. You know, we're down 2-0 in a turnover battle. You can't have that, you know, and they had a jump ball on a 4th and long. They're getting the breaks right now, and we got to turn it around. So we're going to make a game of it in the second half, and we're going to come back and win.
Best of luck in the second half. Back over to you guys.
That is classic Keith Hack. He knows how to adjust at halftime. If the wind's not blowing his way, he knows how to adjust to sails better than anyone in the LFL. I expect Chicago to make some run here in the second half.
That is a squib kick by Lauren Ziegler, fielded by Christelle Harris. Look at Harris in the open field take a pretty good shot. That was a return of 11 yards, setting up Chicago at about the 16-yard line.
Keith Hack made a great point. Turnovers killed him. That center quarterback exchange killed him. And now Barkley is playing good. She had a good first half. Harris had a good first half. As I mentioned, over 7 yards per carry. The offense is playing okay. They just got to score some points.
To your point, Jacinda Barkley in this offense has done well when given the opportunity. They just have not had the ball. Only 7 minutes of overall possession time.
Absolutely. They have the talent to do it. She's playing good. As I mentioned, Christelle Harris is in playoff form. They got to slow down, score some points, and put the pressure back on Atlanta.
And that is someone that is not really factored in to this point, A.J. Johnson. We talked about her in the pregame show. They're targeting her now. They have got to go to her to create some offense.
I am sure that offensive coordinator Jim Bruner at halftime told Barkley and it told head coach Keith Hack, you got to get the ball to A.J. Johnson.
That was an 8-yard gain, now setting up a 2nd and 2. Ball at the 16-yard line. Make that the 24. Another target to A.J. Johnson. And what a hit by Nneka Nwani, the former Chicago Bliss player.
Nneka Nwani, that's like running into a brick wall. Great offensive play, great protection. Barkley, poised in the pocket, finds a wide open A.J. Johnson. She comes inside and gets slammed to the ground. Wow, what a hit by Nwani.
A.J. Johnson now limping off the field after being absolutely destroyed by Nwani. You could see the offense that she represents here. 7 scores on the year.
Well, this is her first season at wide receiver. When you catch a hook pattern, you should try to bring it outside to the wall. You bring it inside, you're going to run into linebackers.
Look at Nneka Nwani coming up the middle. That was forcing Jacinda Barkley right. And then Barkley runs into the official. That was a gain of 3 yards.
That official has got to get the heck out of the way. Barkley coming right toward him. He's got to be an athlete. He's got to be in shape, too. We get on the players. That official just stood there. Barkley could have had a 10-yard gain. She got stopped because of the zebra.
And if you talk to the official, they'll tell you they're part of the field. They do their best to get out of the way, but that was the 8th defender for Atlanta.
I'll tell you what, they should slip that guy a 5 after the game. That could have been a big play, a big run for Barkley.
I like the play of Nneka Nwani. She is playing possessed against her former teammates.
Nneka Nwani playing with a chip on her shoulder. She wanted to be back with Chicago. Coach Hack would not let her.
2nd and 7. Barkley back to pass. Complete in the flat. Christelle Harris. And look at Harris fight her way into the end zone. And this is exactly what Chicago needed to start the half.
You talk about having a strong arm. Watch this throw by Barkley. She's getting all kind of pressure. She's looking the opposite direction. Watch her eyes. She's looking left. She's going left. She slings it, throws a BB across the field to Harris. And wow, what a run by Christelle Harris. Anyway, the only way to stop her, they have to give that whole entire defense a bunch of axes. What a play. Touchdown, Chicago.
Demery and Lauren Ziegler had a shot at Christelle Harris, and both whiffed.
This is a perfect start of the second half for Chicago. You can see Dane Robinson upset. What arm strength by the quarterback, getting the ball all the way across the field when her feet were facing the opposite direction.
A 2-point attempt. A great release play by Kim Perez. And suddenly we've got a ball game here. 25-16 as we go to a media timeout. Back to third quarter action of the Eastern Conference Championship. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Huco, and Desi Mitchison. A 1st and 10 for the Atlanta offense. We've got a flag. That pass complete to Lauren Ziegler. Ziegler would gain 14 yards. We'll see if the play stands.
I think it's another illegal defense for the 3rd time. The Chicago Blitz is lined up wrong.
You called it, Bobby. Now, the illegal defense is when you have more than just your DNs and middle linebacker inside the box.
Absolutely. They're bringing the safeties up, and it's an illegal formation. I'm surprised they haven't adjusted. But even without that, what a play by Dakota Hughes. She is playing outstanding football tonight.
That completion to Ziegler takes the ball out to the 21-yard line. Now the handoff to Brittany Demery. And Demery just does not have the wheels in the second half. That was a gain of 3 yards.
Wow, you're right. The blocking was there outside. If she could have kept up with her blockers, that could have been a huge gain, but she didn't get out there. They caught her from behind.
After Chicago started smartly on the offensive side of the ball, their defense once again is giving up a lot of yardage here.
I would think Coach Hack and his adjustments, talking to staff, they would do something to stop Dakota Hughes. If she keeps going on like this, they're going to advance.
Ball at the 18-yard line of Chicago. From the shotgun, well overthrown. That ball intended for Teresa Petrozzullo. Now setting up a 3rd and 7.
That was the worst pass of the night for Dakota Hughes. She had Petrozzullo on a quick post open. You got to keep that ball low. She sailed it over her head. That could have been another big game for Atlanta.
Now, if I was Atlanta, I don't know that I would abandon the run the way they've done here in the second half. Brittany Demery's only had a couple looks, and Jessie Locklear has not been heard from.
I don't blame Mark White. You got a hot quarterback. Dakota Hughes was outstanding in the first half. Why not let her throw the football?
3rd and 7, inside handoff. Adrian Purnell. Purnell really having a big night here, gaining 3 yards. We've got another penalty here.
They had that play read out, but you're right. Here's the call. I'm not sure what this one is.
Early indication is this may be on Chicago once again. We're going to get the call here in a second from Jason Gardner.
Number 19, Chicago. 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
That goes from a 3rd and 7 now to a 3rd and 2. Coach Hack is not only the head coach, he's the defensive coordinator. So there's nobody more upset than him right now.
That is the 4th time, and this is a conference championship game, 4th time that defense has been offsides or aligned wrong.
3rd and 2, Dakota Hughes under center, dropping back to pass, rolling right, throwing across her body to the end zone. And that is intercepted. What a key turnover for Chicago. That was Deandra Fry.
Rookie mistake. She had time. Throw it away. She threw it up for grabs. There's nobody open. She threw it right to Fry. And that's the only way that Chicago can come back in this game because of turnovers. You mentioned it. Why not give the ball to Demery? I thought Hughes was hot, but right now that's 2 bad passes in a row.
That was a dagger that Atlanta could have put in the heart of Chicago. You're going in to score there. You commit a turnover like that. That was reverting back to her rookie season.
Absolutely.
Your quarterback, Bobby, when do you throw across your body and have success?
Well, you throw it away. It was a 3-step drop. She was looking for the quick slant, the quick post. It wasn't there. Nothing else is open. Just throw it away.
1st and 10 for Chicago from the shotgun. Barkley flinging it out. A.J. Johnson had steps on Teresa Petrozulo, but just overthrown.
Wow, Barkley has got a rifle. That went through the hands of A.J. Johnson. That was a bullet. I don't know if anybody in the NFL could have caught that.
Hey, Neely, baby, Neely. Take
a 2nd and 10 now. A.J. Johnson runs great patterns. That's one of the great accolades for number 18. And that could have been 6.
I can't believe this arm strength. You got to hand it to Matt Pike, the former Purdue quarterback, has really worked on her arm motion, going from a baseball player to a football quarterback.
That is no gain on the rush. Christelle Harris tackled by Adrian Purnell and Nneka Nwani.
You can see the Chicago Bliss has a pep in their step. They look like they're fired up here in the second half, a lot more than they were in the second quarter.
They're having a little more success through the air than the ground right now. Barkley went 4 of 5 in the first half. Let's not forget that again. This offense just did not have the opportunities in the first half. 3rd and 10 now. Barkley rolling right, has some open field, and taking off with it. Trying to chase her down was Nneka Nwani. But again, the brute strength of Jacinda Barkley, that was a 16-yard run.
That's fun to watch. 2 all-star players. You got Nneka Nwani, who's just an animal. And you got Barkley, who's an animal playing quarterback. Watch these two go one-on-one. She has her, but 10 yards down the field is when she finally gets pulled down.
Y-wheel, Z5.
Barkley very deceptive with her speed. You could see she's built like a linebacker, but also very fast in the open field.
Absolutely. Most quarterbacks run for fright. Barkley runs to cause damage.
A 1st and 10 now. Barkley back to pass again, looking to the right part of the end zone. And overshooting her target, A.J. Johnson. 1-on-1,
great coverage by Chicago. There was nothing there. She overthrew it. If anybody was going to catch it, it was going to be A.J. Johnson. Good throw by Barkley, even though it was incomplete.
Give credit to Coco Montgomery on the Atlanta side.
Right. Yes. Everybody had 2 X, Y, Z, Y, Z, go. Running back flat right.
Y, Z, go.
Y, Z, go.
9, yeah.
Yes. Running back flat. W, arrow. W.
9, flat. W.
That's offensive coordinator Jim Bruner.
Trips right gun. Both of you go. You are flat. W release. 1-on-1 right. Make it quick.
Jim Bruner getting Jacinda Barkley on the same page here.
Ready!
On a key 2nd and 10 play. Dropping back to pass, a release play to May Gamble. Nobody accounting for Gamble as she walks into the end zone.
You have to hand it to offensive coordinator Jim Bruner, rolling the dice, throwing the ball to May Gamble, and it comes up snake eyes. A trip set to the right. Everybody on that side. She slips out. Nobody is out there. Unbelievable call by Bruner, and Gamble comes through for the score.
You would have thought somebody would protect against that release play, maybe a backside corner, a safety. There was nobody on the left side of the field.
They went trips right. All the defensive backs went over there. Just a great call and great execution by the Bliss.
The two-point attempt here by Chicago, trying to lob it into the end zone. And look at the vertical leap. That looks to be Shabria Civilian, the 5'4" wide receiver, getting up. The Chicago native showing some hops.
Hey, that's good. Hey, that's a play call on that. All right, that's a good play call. All right, so now we got to back up. We're still going to go on safe. We're still going to get pressure on safe. We need to make sure we contain. All right, there's no reason why she should have landed on us. All right, so on that backside, you have to hold now. Okay, that's not on you. All right, that's them scheming. That's okay.
Dane Robinson giving some props to the Chicago coaching staff. He told the players, don't worry about it. They read this, they studied game film, and they came up with great plays against different defenses. So it's not the players' fault, it's the coach's fault.
Jesse Locklear having some success. That was an 8-yard carry. Going back to the score here, Bobby, that is 16 unanswered points by Chicago.
Now, you know, I know that Chicago has always been Atlanta's kryptonite, but it's amazing. You think they have this game in hand, and now it's almost tied up.
The score at halftime was 25-8. Now it's a 1-point game.
Just like that. I mean, it seemed like this game was all Atlanta. They were going to run. They were going to go into the final Legends Cup, and now Chicago is back in the ball game.
I like what I'm seeing here if I'm an Atlanta fan. They have got to go back to establishing the run. That was Jesse Locklear on the first play for 8 yards, and now Brittany Demery gaining 5.
Well, you're right. As much as I love Dakota Hughes as a quarterback, it was her mistake, the turnover, to get Chicago fired up and back into the game.
And more than anything, it's that front line. You've got to take advantage of it. You've got Chantel Taylor, Yashi Rice, and Kristen Morrison. The front three, they are heavily outweighed by Atlanta's front three. Another handoff to Brittany Demery, breaking through arm tackles and getting into the secondary before Kristen Morrison and Tamar Fennell have to chase her down.
Just terrible technique. Dominique Collins has her in the backfield. Even though her size is way smaller than Demery, you have to grab a leg and just hold on until other defenders get there. What a run by Demery.
I hate to beat a dead horse, but you've got size. Take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And they're destroying that front line. They did it the last game. They did it the first half. And that one drive where Dakota Hughes got picked off could be the difference.
1st and 10, ball at the Chicago 12. This looks like Atlanta may have jumped here. I believe they're going to call Brittany Demery for the false start.
It actually looked like she was moving to catch a direct snap from the center, but she moved way too early.
That is something this team could ill afford to do. They've got a bit of momentum going here, and it's been on the ground. 1st and 15, ball at the Chicago 17-yard line. That's Petrozzullo in motion. A quick slant pass. Lauren Ziegler having a lot of success over the middle. That was Deandra Fry in coverage. And that'll officially bring us to the end of the third quarter. A quarter that saw Chicago fighting back.
I'm telling you right now, they're in full-blown panic mode. Full-blown panic. We got them right where we want them. All right, let's finish it. No big plays. Watch Ziegler on the dump out on the wide out, all right? Jam her into the ball if you have to, all right?
Let's go, turn out!
Back for fourth quarter action. A listen in on the Chicago huddle. They know the importance of this drive as Atlanta leads at 25-24. A handoff to Demery, and Demery losing the ball. Another scrum. Chicago thinks they have it. That is Chantel Taylor. We haven't gotten official word, and there it is. Chicago coming up with the turnover.
Unbelievable. Deanna Fry came up with the strip. Every time in the second half, it looks like an entirely different Chicago team. Watch this. Demery, here it is, right up the middle. She breaks outside. There's the strip right there. Great defensive play. And Chantel Taylor comes up with it.
Challenging we recovered that football.
Okay, so you're challenging the ruling that Chicago recovered the ball.
No. We recovered the football.
Yeah, you're challenging the call back. You're challenging that they.
Right. It was a fumble. We recovered the football. Ari fell on. We recovered the football. We recovered the football. Which I said, we recovered the football.
And she was down.
And she was down.
I am thoroughly confused here, as is head referee Jason Gardner. And I got to look at the playbook here, Bobby, because I don't think you can challenge who recovered the fumble. That's a call that's made down on the field. Now, if you're challenging whether this was a fumble, you could certainly do that. Clearly it was. But I don't think you can challenge who recovers it. That looked like Chantel Taylor.
It was totally recovered by Chantel Taylor. And I made a mistake. It was Dominique Collins who made the strip. I said Fry, but Collins had a great play, made contact, stripped the ball. This is absolutely Chicago's football.
They're still taking a look at it here. Jason Gardner on the call.
If we go safe, I want safe blue. I want to go safe blue. See back here, all right?
Can I stay the first? I'll take that.
Talk about predicting a defense. Coach Hack motivated that defense, telling him we've got to get a turnover here. And that is exactly what they delivered.
The steam offense, every time in the second half, they get so flat. I mean, they could be faxed back to Atlanta. It's unbelievable. They don't show up in the second half.
There's a little lob pass to A.J. Johnson. We talk about the arm strength of Jacinda Barkley. That was a little touch.
Absolutely a velvet touch. Beautiful pass. The coverage was there. Got it perfectly timed over the defensive back to head. Great play, great catch, great route by A.J. Johnson.
Get on and get her
I don't think you can give enough accolades to number 18. The job that she's done in place of Allie Alberts has been nothing short of brilliant.
Absolutely. Allie Alberts, she was all fantasy, a great receiver, but A.J. Johnson is just as talented. I got to hand it to wide receiver coach Dave Mills. He worked a lot. This was a basketball player coming to Chicago, and he made her a wide receiver.
Christelle Harris picking up where A.J. Johnson left off. That is a 6-yard carry. This is starting to feel like the momentum has shifted completely to Chicago.
It has absolutely gone 180 degrees. I'll tell you what, it's all Chicago right now. Atlanta still has the lead. They got to stay fired up. They got to come up with a stop somehow.
I think this is where the mental aspect comes in a bit of saying, oh boy, here we go again.
They've been in this situation so many times against Chicago, they just fall down.
A 2nd and 4 play rolling right to the end zone. And that was nearly caught. Shabria Civilian. And we may have a pass interference in the end zone against Atlanta.
Watch this pass on the run. They have Keon Harrison beat. That ball should have been caught, but I think they are going to call pass interference.
That's not interference. Pick up the flag. That's not interference.
Pass interference. Chicago, number 11. It's a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down. Correction, Atlanta.
Yeah, let's hope Atlanta does not think that they can challenge this as well. There seems to be confusion within the coaching ranks here in the fourth quarter.
You know, you made a great point about Atlanta's mentality. In the second half, every time they play Chicago, it's almost like they know bad things are going to happen.
That was a 10-yard penalty. They're lucky that ball was not spotted on the one, which you have in the NFL, but in the LFL, it's a 10-yard pass interference. And look at Nneka Nwani. She looked like she was shot out of a cannon. And you and I talked about this earlier this week. There is nobody that wants to win this game more than number 15.
Nneka Nwani, I know Coach Hack let her go. If I was Coach Hack, I would want her. She's absolutely a beast, a Willa beast. Probably the most talented and biggest player on the field. She can change the game, and she's going to need to change the game, maybe create a fumble here in the second half.
They felt she became a cancer in the locker room. That is the reason she was released and scooped up by Atlanta. A 2nd and 13, ball at the Atlanta 18-yard line. Back to pass Jacinda Barkley, cutting across the middle. That is Shabria Servilian. Servilian being targeted here in the second half, especially late in the game. That was a 9-yard reception.
I am totally impressed with Barkley's poise in the pocket. I mean, she steps up, waits, a la Peyton Manning. To last second delivers a strike to Servilian underneath. Another positive game for this offense.
Gotta love the effort of Servilian.
Servilian's got major league speed, and with that kind of time, a defensive back, they just can't stay with her that long.
Like the combination of Johnson and Servilian at the wide out position. 3rd and 4 now, nearing the 7-minute mark. That was a pass in the flat to Dina Fagiano. Fagiano, surprisingly, not getting a lot of touches, coming off an all-fantasy season.
They usually run Fagiano on that Y under. They don't throw it to her a lot. She doesn't have great hands, but there was nothing there anyway. Keon Harrison was right there in the flag, would have brought her down for no gain.
A 4th and 4 here. I realize there's still over 6 minutes remaining, but how key is this stop for Atlanta's defense?
Oh, this is huge. This might be the ball game, because if Chicago can somehow get this first down and get in the end zone, they totally have changed the momentum 100%.
4th and 4 as Jacinda Barkley still looking over her wrist guard. Receivers flank to the right side. That is a quick dump off. Shabria Servilian. And the passes are not really something that you go, wow, but it's the yards after the catch by Servilian.
She gets the job done. Barkley got the ball as quick as possible to the speedster Servilian. It was one-on-one against Harrison. Harrison was there. She just couldn't catch her. A great call, and the speed got the first down.
That'll set up a 1st and goal, an opportunity for Chicago to also work on the clock here.
Absolutely. You got Chrisdell Harris in the backfield. She's had an outstanding game in the first half alone. She was averaging over 7 yards a carry. Right now, this is Chrisdell Harris country.
1st and goal. Harris in the backfield. There you go. Hand off to number 13. Harris gaining 2 yards down to the 1-yard line.
That is just the power and strength of the Ferrari. Wojciechowski was right there one-on-one, but she won the battle and drug her to the 1-yard line.
You got to be feeling really good if you're a Chicago Bliss fan. Your team was down 25-8 at halftime, has rattled off 16 unanswered points, and again are on the verge of scoring.
We thought this was finally going to be Atlanta's night at halftime.
Oh, that could be a false start. Dina Fagiano holding her head. You are in business at the 1-yard line. Then this happens.
This is a cardinal sin for a veteran player like Fagiano on the 1-yard line, the red zone going in. You have to watch the football. You cannot jump like that. That could be a fatal mistake.
Ball backed up to the Atlanta 6-yard line. It's only still 2nd and goal. You've got 3 shots at the end zone here. And if you're wondering, there are no field goals in the LFL. Everything is 4-down territory. That is a loose ball. Again, that center to quarterback exchange. Chicago's having a lot of problems with that.
It's a big gamble starting a new center. Brittany Wilson. Steph Murray was the starter. Barkley's hands, she was not even worried about the snap. But now with a new center, you start worrying about the snap, and that's the 3rd time tonight they miscalculated the snap, and it went on the ground.
We've seen the importance of that with Dina Wojciechowski and Dakota Hughes struggling with that on the Atlanta side. Here's the 3rd and goal play, a designed rollout. Again, Nwani of Atlanta all over Jacinda Barkley.
Barkley bobbled the snap again, and being an ex-quarterback, I see part of the problem. Brittany Wilson is 6 feet tall. Those long legs, her butt is way higher up in the air than Murray's was, and it's tough to adjust, especially in a conference championship game.
You saw the pursuit of Nneka Nwani, just a pure athlete at that middle linebacker position.
Nneka Nwani is a beast. Somebody tried to rob her house, and she robbed the robber. She takes nothing for granted, and she kills people.
A huge pickup for Atlanta. It'll be interesting to see if she re-signs for the 2017 season. A very important 4th and goal pitch play. And there it is. When you need it the most, you go to your franchise player, and that is Christelle, the Ferrari Harris.
How in the world did Barkley get the ball to Harris? It looked like Purnell was going to destroy her before she could hand or pitch the ball off. And somehow, watch this great play by Barkley. Bam, she gets hit as she throws the ball to Harris, and Harris does the rest and scores. But what a play by the quarterback.
When they say it's a game of inches, if there were a couple more inches on Barkley, there's no way she gets that toss play out there. And that's a fumble.
It could have been a fumble going the other way. Like you said, 1 split second. If Purnell got there 1 split second earlier, that ball's going backwards.
Now the extra point attempt. That's Coco Montgomery just swallowing up Jacinda Barkley. Our score will remain 30-25. That is the second time Chicago has led tonight, and that was a 10-play, 44-yard drive.
Hey, it's time right now. No more stops here, okay? Punt it downfield. Tennessee right, 1, 6, 8 on 1. Ready?
Dakota Hughes, her rookie year, she was the cardiac kid. She had a lot of comeback wins on the last drive of certain games, but tonight she's got to be in shock. It looked like they're going to have this game in the bag, and now they're behind 5 points.
If there's one quarterback I would want in this situation, it's number 18. And look at that, on cue, finding Lauren Ziegler. That is a 23-yard gain, and still we have over 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
What a pass by Dakota Hughes. That was a bang 8. A post right underneath the free safety. Watch this. You got to throw it quick on timing. Boom. Gets it over the linebacker before the safety. That is NFL stuff right there. That is why they called her the cardiac kid.
She got it over the extended hands of Kristen Morrison. We've seen incredible placement and touch by both quarterbacks tonight. This should take us to the 2-minute warning. One of these two teams are 2 minutes away for a date in the Legends Cup with the Seattle Mist.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. You want this to be your last 2 minutes? Then step up right now. Make a play. All right?
All of us.
No, this is a challenge to you. Make a play right now.
Look at Coach Hack as we welcome you back to LFL football night and the Eastern Conference Championship. Coach Hack challenging Yashi Rice, the veteran that's set to retire after this season.
That is Coach Hack at his best, challenging the veteran, all fantasy defensive end Yashi Rice, to come up with a game-changing play.
Atlanta going back to the well with Brittany Demery. That is exactly what they should be doing. Number 2 has had a huge impact when given the opportunity. That was an 8-yard carry.
Right now, Coach Dane Robinson, he's got to be looking at the clock. Do you want to score? You don't want to score too quick. You have Brittany Demery just pound it away, take the clock out of the game so Chicago and Barkley can't have another chance.
That is exactly right. You got plenty of time here. Run the ball, work on the clock, make Jacinda Barkley go the length of the field with 20, 30 seconds.
Which she has never done in the LFL US.
2nd and 2 now. Dakota Hughes back to pass, throwing to the end zone. Overshooting Lauren Ziegler. We do have a penalty. This could be interference on Chicago.
It looked like Ziegler might have pushed off in the back of the end zone. Still not sure why they didn't give Demery the ball, but they throw to Ziegler, and it looks like she pushed the DB down. That's huge.
You called it, Bobby. That is a push-off on Lauren Ziegler. So it goes from 2nd and 2 at the 2-yard line to now a 2nd and 12.
I can't believe that offensive coordinator Mark White didn't give the ball to Demery at the 2-yard line.
A la the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. They're going to Demery here. That was a 6-yard carry. Now setting up a manageable 3rd and 6.
2nd and goal from the 2, and you don't go to Demery. I'll be thinking about that one a long time if they don't get in.
The clock continues to tick away. We are under 1 minute remaining in a 30-25 ball game. Dakota Hughes from the shotgun looking to the end zone, lobbing it up. And intercepted. Tamar Fennell pinning the ball against the boards, which is completely legal, and nailing the coffin on Atlanta's season.
Coach Dane Robinson is not going to sleep this entire offseason. They have the ball on the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal. And then you have your quarterback throw up a bad pass like this, just another Hail Mary, instead of throwing the ball away, and Tamar Fennell saves the season for Chicago.
You're the quarterback in this booth, Bobby, but you cannot throw the ball falling backwards off your back foot. It's going to sail.
Dakota Hughes is a great quarterback, but as a veteran, that's twice tonight. She threw the ball up just to anybody, and it got picked off twice, and Atlanta has not gone in advance because of that.
If you're counting, this will be the 6th consecutive loss that young lady in this Atlanta franchise has suffered to Chicago.
Unbelievable. Keith Hack, I don't know how he gets it done. You think he's out of it at halftime, and he comes back and somehow beats Atlanta every time.
This has got to be the most devastating loss of them all. Last year's Eastern Conference Championship game, they were a run out of Chicago. In this one, they were up 25-8 with every opportunity to close it out.
Absolutely, and then even letting Chicago back in, they have the ball 2nd and goal with that monster line, the monster running back Demery, and they don't give it to her.
Chicago now just lining up in the victory formation.
But you know you don't want to do that. Third down. You know you don't want to do that.
Adrian Purnell exchanging words with Dina Fagiano.
You don't want that. Bro, we can bang after this. I am not tripping. I am not tripping.
And I think that's part of the issue here. You've got a team that's going after a team that they've just lost 6 consecutive times to.
It's good to talk trash if you win, but when you get beat, I think it's just frustration. It's amazing how they did not win this football game again. They had it in the bag.
Let's not take anything away from this Eastern Conference champion Chicago Bliss being down, left for dead at halftime, 25-8. We saw the depression in that locker room, and to come back and win this one 30-25, that takes a lot of guts.
Atlanta should study the way Chicago plays second half football. They never give up. They could have put their head down at halftime and say, we're done. You know what they do? They come back, they score. The defense finally shows up, they make big plays, and they win football games.
Partner, we've got another rematch of the Legends Cup between the Seattle Mist and the Chicago Bliss. Who do you like in that one?
Wow, what a matchup. You have 2 great teams, 2 great quarterbacks. Barkley, in my eyes right now, arguably should have been up for the MVP, playing great football. KK Matheny coming off the championship. I cannot wait for this one.
That is going to be a good one with a healthy Danica Brace. The Chicago Bliss advancing to Scottsdale, Arizona for a rematch with their rival, the Seattle Mist.
Seattle Mist, they're chomping at the bit, I know that. But Chicago, I know Coach Hack. I talked to him this week. He is so upset about losing to Seattle last year. He'll be ready for him this year.
That'll do it for us here at the Eastern Conference Championship. A game that absolutely lived up to its hype, with Chicago advancing 30-25. For our producer, Jonas Nordman, Bobby Huco, our sideline reporter, Desi Mitchison, this is Mitch Mortaza. We will see you next week in Scottsdale, Arizona.